Howdy folks, Wandering Kid here. Welcome back to FurnaceClans. Well, there's been some confusion on the forums as to exactly how you can and can't get caravans in. And unfortunately, I believe I've answered one of these questions. We've gotten our liaison and our caravan to show up, and the wagons have bypassed our site. Now, if you look at our map here, we're definitely against the edge, and we definitely have plenty of wagon space for them to have accessed us via the caverns. So, we cannot get access to the caravan from the caverns. This entire escapade of trying to drive our way down here in time for the caravan was a waste of time. It has gotten us plants and booze and trees though, so it wasn't a complete waste of effort. But in this case, I'm afraid that I've misled both you and myself in thinking that we could get the caravan through the caverns. So, the answer to this question is no, you cannot get the caravan or the liaison to come in through the caverns. Perhaps you can if you cut off all access on the surface. There are methods of doing that, such as channeling away certain holes and things like that, so there is absolutely no path for a wagon to get onto the map on the surface. I'll have to look into that to confirm this, but from just a wagon access standpoint, you definitely cannot get the caravan to you via the cavern. Now, so our merchants have showed up. They're up here, up in the northwest, and our liaison has arrived, and he's down here in the south, and he's about to get assaulted by a bunch of raven people. So the raven men and women are about to assault him. Our merchant is up here in the northwest. Excuse me, sorry, hit the wrong button there. He's all the way over here. Now, our uninvited guest, the Titan, is hanging around over here on the east. But as soon as this merchant gets close, he'll see him, and he will beeline at him. We're just not going to get the merchants in. I'm not even going to open the doors. It's just not worth the risk of letting this Titan in. I'm going to have to create a trap to trap this Titan as quickly as possible, somewhere where I can use him and get him off the surface, because by next year I have to be able to get a merchant caravan in, or I'm in a world of hurt. So we're going to have to try and set something up. Alright, well, welcome back, guys. I want to let you know that I had actually saved scum that save, because what I had done was I had to use a couple of tricks in DF hack to dig this out to confirm that it wasn't just the fact that my minimal path here was the problem for the caravan access. I wanted to make sure that there wasn't an accident or a mistake in the build, so I used a couple of DF hack tricks to speed up a few things, and it advanced the fort in a way that I didn't feel was fair for the challenge. So I've backed it up once I've confirmed that that wasn't the problem. If you're curious, if you go into DF hack and hit die, you can restore your old save without an issue. So what's happened is we've advanced back to the point where I've got the expedition, I'm sorry, not the expedition leader, where I've got the liaison and the merchants up on the surface. The liaison again came in on the south. The merchants this time came in up on the northeast. Their guards took out the raven corpses. I'm kind of seeing what happens when the Titan engages the merchants. So the mace dwarf got propelled by the blow. Yeah, the Savannah Titan kicked the mace dwarf in the head and killed him in one shot. The sword dwarf got kicked in the head and knocked unconscious. Slammed into an obstacle, and looks like he died off as well. So they're going down. Now I want to see what happens when these guys get caught up too. Okay, they've killed off that merchant. I think this was the other one. Moses. Okay, there's one merchant and there's the other. So both merchants are dead. What did he just kill off? A boar corpse. Okay. Now, what I had wanted to do was see if I can find the anvil. Because what I may do is I may go over to dig underneath this directly, drop the anvil down, and then perhaps seal it back up. I'm not sure how I want to do this yet, but we're going to try and figure out how we're going to approach this process. So, first I want to try and find the anvil. So I will bring you guys back in a minute or two once I've located what I need. Okay, so we have found the anvil. It is located underneath our donkey corpse. Up here, where the horse was, we also have a large volume of items. What I'm going to have to do is try and figure out a way to steal these goods. What I'm hoping will happen is these corpses will res, will move off of the drop point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dig some tunnels underneath them and see if I can't drop them down to where I can get access to them in such a way that I can actually make sure that the Titan doesn't want to get involved with the fort from that point. So this is going to take a little trickery, and we're going to have to see how we can pull this off. So I do have the option of getting the anvil. I'm just going to have to figure out how to get at it. So I'm going to set up some dig patterns, figure out how I'm going to approach this, and I will bring you back in once I've got all that set up. Alright, I think I have a plan. I don't know if it's a good plan, but I have a plan. Alright, so here and here are the locations of the 2 dropped stockpiles from the merchants. Just below them I have 2 upward stairs dug, when those will be used to channel directly up to drop the goods down 1 level. To get at these stairways, we're going to build 2 ramps up, and over them we're going to build retracting bridges. In theory, the building destroyer, the Titan, can't destroy bridges, according to the wiki. Haven't played with one this way in a while. I forget what he can and can't go after. I usually have a lot more material and time to work with. I don't at the moment. So what we're looking at is we're going to drop the goods here, and with the bridge here to protect the miner after he comes down. Along this route, it's a very simple route, we're going to put in a raisable bridge just in case everything else goes wrong, because we know this raised bridge stops him, and we know the outside of a raised drawbridge can't be destroyed. So even if everything goes horribly wrong, hopefully I'll have very limited exposure to the danger. I've got a lot of things that are getting dug out right now and kind of need to be dug out, so I'm going to let that happen, and we're going to get our stills and stuff like that figured out. Most of the food on the surface is going to rot, but I need to give the undead here some time to move off of the direct drop holes anyway, so we're going to allow that to happen, and we're going to let our miner work for a bit. It'd be lovely to get another pick down here quickly. Once he's got this dug out, I've got the bridges built and things like that, I'll bring you back in. See you shortly. Hello and welcome back, my friends. Much has happened since you've last been here. We are in the middle of late summer. We no longer get migrants. Unfortunately, we have angered the migrant god. Not necessarily a surprise. We have 52 corpses kicking around on the surface at this point. I wouldn't come near this place either. Of particular curiosity is Stez got himself killed. Somewhere in here. Well, he was killed. Stez died. When Stez died, he was still kicking around up here on the surface, antagonizing and harassing everybody. But he was no longer sending out webs. So what I find very interesting about that is once Stez turned undead, he lost his web powers, and I don't know if he kept his building destroyer ability or not. Would have been interesting to accidentally find out, I'm sure. But so be it. Okay, in the meanwhile, down here in the caverns, we've removed the old depot, and we've walled ourselves in. We've walled off the water here, we dropped a wall here and here. In the places where we had to go 2 levels high, we did. We constructed some stairs, went up, built out the wall, came back down. Inch by inch was relatively painful. We've created a small batch of farms. We've got pigtails, sweet pods, plump helmets, and cave wheat. Over here, I had missed a spot earlier. We didn't get in trouble from it, but I noticed it while I was kicking around. So I had to build a little bit of extra wall. And right now we're collecting plants and trees from over on the east, because at the moment I don't have any olms kicking in the water. There is a cave crocodile who's thinking about coming by, and we'll have to keep an eye on him, but that olm has been gone for quite a decent amount of time. Up on our main level, we started creating bedrooms for everybody. It's just a mass bedroom. I'm not worried about giving everybody individual rooms yet. And we started smoothing stone. Merchant's Memorial Walk here has filled up some. We had to put in a couple for the merchants that had died as well. This is our dining room area. Booze stockpile, plant stockpile for booze, distillery, empty rock pot storage, which is empty right now. This is food storage, meat, fish, milled plant, leaves, things like that. A corn and a kitchen, and this is our prepared food stockpile. Over here, our butchery has been horribly unused. I could actually probably just seal this thing up and call it good at this point. Down on our crafts floor, we created a second crafts dwarf workshop, because getting rock pots up and running in time and getting our brewery taken care of was becoming very difficult, so I created 2 crafts dwarf workshops to create rock pots. We have a stone quantum storage here. Not that there's a lot in there right now, but it helped clean up the place. Underneath our jeweler's place and underneath our farmer's workshop, we've created small areas for storage of plants. I'm hoping that we're going to eventually trip on a quarry bush somewhere in the caverns, but I haven't yet, so I'm not able to get rock nut oil. I'm not able to get leaves for cooking, all of those lovely things that quarry bushes provide when you're necessary. We've started the cloth making industry because we are a year and a half in. Our clothing is going to start rotting off our bodies. And I need bags for seeds because right now I've got seeds everywhere and farming and planting is becoming problematic. Still have not even started to dig out the waterfall construction or anything like that. That's a long ways away. Up here on level 1, this is the part where everything's going to get interesting. I almost starved out 2 dwarves earlier. When I had built out a floor here and a bridge here, they got stuck on the floor, couldn't get back downstairs because they had just, well, bridged over the downward ramp and couldn't leave. So we had kind of made a mess of things that way. These 2 bridges are each on separate levers. The reason for that is because I had to open one set of bridges while they built the other set. So underneath here, we've got an up-down stair and a ramp, either way. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to have my miner open both of these, come up underneath one, channel out to the surface, drop all this stuff down 1 level, and then run like heck. while he's running away, we're going to close these two bridges, and we're going to see how that works out. I don't expect to have any significant building destroyer problems at this point since Stez is dead. I'm sure he's in this corpse list somewhere. Lord only knows. Here he is. He's gotten himself a new name. Maffialino. He's over here. If he still created webs, I'd be interested in possibly trying to capture him, but a kobold ambush actually came by. He charged into the mess, and he didn't even bother casting a single web, so there's absolutely no reason for me to try and capture him anymore. Which is a shame. I could have used a nice silk industry going, but we've got some pigtails started, so we'll work with that. I'm not sure how the merchant caravan is going to do this year, especially considering we have, what, other than the cave crocodile, everything, and 4 guys in the pit. So we have 47 undead corpses sitting on the surface. I was thinking about trying to drill out an airlock so that I could open a trade depot, see if they could make it to it, close the bridge, things of that nature. I just don't see the point. If I could set up a bunch of traps and things like that, I might try it, just because the traps would hopefully cause either death or dodging on the corpses. Hopefully they dodge off the cliff, fall down into a rut, and I could feed that rut back up to the surface. But that's going to be a long time in the making, probably another year out before I can dig out that kind of intricate system. In the meanwhile, we're about ready to start the process of bringing those goods from the surface down to our level. Beer cigarette is ready. Yes, I'm over 21. Hush. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull our 2 levers, and this lever controls our emergency escape hatch just in case everything else goes horribly wrong. So that drops that bridge. Now my guys are pretty busy right now. And I'm a little nervous. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a burrow. Okay, helps if I stop moving things around. Right here. Okay, I'm going to define the burrow, and we're going to assign to the burrow a particular person. ITG, you're getting elected because you've become my hauler. I'll show you the layout I've got for the jobs that I've got assigned to everybody here shortly. But right now, ITG, you're getting assigned to that burrow so that you will pull levers. You're currently gathering plants, so I'm going to wait on you. He's not heading up to the burrow yet, but he is jobless, so he will go there as soon as I need him to. So what we're going to do here, and I'm afraid this is actually going to hurt my miner when all this stuff drops down on his head. But we're going to see how this works out. My miner is currently storing things. We're going to fix that. Where are you, Edge? There you are. Oh, I assigned all of those guys missing as their job and name just to get them out of my hair. Because I couldn't figure out what was going on from what. Okay, so we're going to commit that so my miner is dedicated. Okay, I need a channel. Thank you. Whoops, looks like we just hit fall. Alright, I'll bring you guys back as soon as my miner gets done with whatever he's doing and he's getting ready to make the run on this. Welcome back. That didn't take too long at all. So, he's making the run. Whoops. We want to follow him. Okay, let's try this again. View. Follow. There we go. Alright. We're going to see if he ends up dumping all this stuff on his forehead. Okay, he did not. All the stuff fell into the hole. Now, as a safety precaution, we're going to pull all the levers very quickly, I hope. The medical dwarf is not coming up. Where are you? Stop being slow about things. Okay. Even though that went poorly, all things considered, that should have happened a lot faster. The bridges should cover us. Okay. We have successfully dropped one of the locations down. Doesn't look like anything charged into us. I'm going to see if I can find Stez, see if he made a run at us. It doesn't even look like he tried. Okay, so once he's undead, apparently he lost his building destroyer status too. Titans can step down one entire Z level without caring. So while that area was open, he should have been looking to get inside the building to destroy hatches, doors, buildings, anything he could have. He wasn't that far away last time I checked on him. He's not that much different now. Apparently when they're undead, they lose almost all of their statuses as Titans. Well, I suppose that's in my favor. But that does mean I can do something relatively quickly, which is drop the other set. I'm going to see if anything untoward happens upstairs. Everything's open. Let's see where Stez is doing. Yes, I'm a little nervous. Stez does not care at all. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to channel underneath the other goods. Oh, I should probably mention that a polar bear came by and drank all of the booze that was laying around on the surface. The food had rotted away a long time ago, but he came by and actually drank all of the booze that was in the barrels. Little tart. Okay, so we've gotten those in. Now, I'm just still going to be a little cautious because, A, I wanted to see if this will work. And B, okay. Now, we're just going to, oops, yes. We're just going to delete the burrow to release ITG back to standard work. And our bridges should be closed. There they are. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to build upward stairs directly underneath these two items. We're going to mine upward stairs underneath that one. And we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to drop them down a level again, because the Titan, even if the Titan can get near us, he can't get down 2 Zs. And what we'll do is we'll just floor upstairs. Now, hopefully this cloud of dust doesn't drift downstairs. Oh, well, it can't drift downstairs until I open it up. So we're just going to let the cloud dig over us, or drift over us before we dig the channel and drop the goods down to us. Okay. With this stairway here, we channel there. And I just need somebody to build that other stairway. Let's see, construct building. And still inactive. That's going to need my 1 mason. He'll get over here eventually. There we go. Now we're going to unforbid all this stuff. Alright, I'm doing this wrong. Reclaim mass. Okay. I'm not going to try and sort this out in front of you. I've got a bunch of random armor in here. The only thing that I particularly desperately needed was this anvil. With that, we're going to melt down everything else, such as this steel mini forge, things like that once we get there. We've got a rope, which will help. We've got buckets. We've got mechanisms. I'm going to build a well. Our excuse me. Our dwarves have been complaining about a lack of a well. I'm going to start digging out the cistern and the waterfall here shortly. And once that's in place, I'll build a couple of floodgates, and I'll drive upwards into the aquifer and have it drain down, create the waterfall. It'll fill the cistern and it'll create a drainage path. I will bring you back before I start that dig once I've got that plotted out. It's not an overly difficult plot, but I know some people have a problem setting up waterfalls and things like that, so I might as well leave that open for you to see. Of particular interest in here also are going to be a couple of the silk bags, though. I've been forced to use some of my cloth to create some bags, and having some more bags on hand will be very handy. The reason for that is seeds require bags to be stored and things like that. And if I want to start creating flour for food, I'm going to need more bags. Because right now, I didn't bring you in here before, I've got a whole ton of plants, but half of it's dimple cups. Not overly useful at the moment. I could grind down the dimple cups, but I need bags to put the dyes into. And once we get that done, I won't plant dimple cups, but I'm going to use the seeds for more food source. We're completely out of prepared meals. We're just eating plump helmets at this point. We do have a decent amount of beer and rum, so we've got some booze going, finally. And we've got what appears to be plenty of seeds. We've got more that's going to drop down. I had really hoped they had brought rock nuts with them when I had dumped this. That was one of the things I was looking for, and unfortunately they didn't. There's no rock nuts to be had. I can't find quarry bushes downstairs. It's just a problem. We'll figure it out eventually, but I really would have loved to have had some leaves. In the meanwhile, we're just going to continue our farming area downstairs. I'm going to eventually dig out an area upstairs near the kitchens so everybody doesn't have to travel as far. And I'm going to grow that up in the sand layer so I can just get completely out of the caverns down there and just use that for tree and plant gathering. And hopefully we'll get some quarry bushes. Once we've got all that done, I'll eventually start digging for the next set of caverns. I do want to get down to the magma pit. But right now I only have 9 dwarves. One last thing I want to show you, though, before we go, is as I told you I had reorganized my labor. I'm going to shut off these. So what's happened is I needed a dedicated farmer, basically, and I don't see us needing much in bookkeeping at this point. Rith has gotten reasonably good as a record keeper, so he's not spending all his time up there. I've basically made him a dedicated farmer and brewer, and that's really all he's doing other than hauling in between. Moses was our mason. I've got him on plant gathering. I've got a bunch of people on plant gathering. Just that setting's there so that when I do a plant gathering, everybody runs out, does the plant gathering, and then gets back to work. I've also got him set for stone crafting for rock pots, and other than that, he's going to help haul plants up and stuff like that from the farms. Mayfall was our carpenter. Our carpenter's not going to be doing much. We just don't have that much need for wood products once our beds are built and things like that. I'll have him make splints and stuff, but there's just not a lot of need for wood past the initial bed stage. So he's going to also become a dedicated farmer. And not a heck of a lot else. I had him on stone carving and a couple other people, but he's really not doing much else. Vukar is one of our woodcutters. He's involved in plant gathering. He's primarily going to be our rock pot creator. Our mason's going to be pretty busy off and on, so I'm going to have him doing most of our rock pot work. He's also our mechanic, so he'll be taking care of that in between. Why am I going through this? Because I have a feeling that this fort, FurnaceClans, is going to have 9 dwarfs for a very, very long time. Juxtaposed here is going to be a farmer and plant gatherer. He's also our cook, so I'm hoping these two can cover him on farming. Woo Monkey, you wanted to be Eurus McUseless. What you became was Eurus McOddjob. You're our woodcutter. You're going to be our miller. You're going to gather some plants. You do bone carving, weaving, and cloth making. Now, most people wouldn't consider cloth making an odd job, but right now it is. So eventually you're going to become our cloth maker. Congratulations. I try to keep you as useless, but I don't have a dwarf to spare. Edge Figaro, our miner, he's not going to be doing much. I'm going to be digging a lot. Well, I need to turn back on his hauling for now. But one of the things I want a primary butcher. The reason I want this is because I want butchery to be done incredibly fast when I ask for it. So I want only one guy butchering, and I want to know exactly where he is when it happens. Other than that, my miner is going to be very busy. I'm going to assign the miner any other extra jobs that I feel need to happen in between, because I can control mining the easiest of all of the assigned jobs that I need to be done. And mining isn't necessary. It's eventually necessary, so I can shut it off and turn it on. Sarvesh here is going to be doing a decent amount of engraving, but he's also a plant processor. He's going to be primarily doing the pigtails into cloth thread for us, so that we can get some clothing industry going before my dwarves are all naked and go absolutely bat nuts. ITG, I left your wood burning on just because, well, you had some amazing wood burning. I'm not expecting to do much with that. And nothing else, because I need a dedicated hauler. So you are our chief medic, and you'll have a hospital, but I don't expect you to be doing much. So you're going to be hauling a lot of stuff. So these are the 9 dwarves of FurnaceClans. Of curiosity, I looked through the unit list, and we have some mates. Oops. Andrikon hasn't nobody. Vukar, here we go. Vukar and Moses are lovers, and Sarvesh and ITG are lovers. So we do have the chance for the generational fort. So we may be good there. So that brings you up to date in FurnaceClans. We have a stable internal environment completely sealed off, but nobody's talking to us anymore. After dropping these goods, I'll have a reasonable internal economy, but I'm going to have no contact with anybody. Until I can figure out a way to clear out the undead off of the surface, we're not going to have contact with the Mountainhome, so I'm not going to be able to make donations to become the Mountainhome. So that part of the challenge may be a little, well, challenged. What I'm hoping to do here eventually is get a surface depot put together. It's just going to take a while. There's not much I can do about it. To be able to do that, though, I'm going to need a pretty significant military to be able to stave off the undead assault while a couple of masons try to throw together a set of walls, and preferably a ceiling, so that we can surface accept the liaisons and the merchants and things like that. So I will bring you back once I've got the waterfall dig site up and we finish cleaning up some internal things like making clothes and stuff like that well, nobody really wants to watch. So I will leave you with that, and I shall join you again in the near future. Thanks for watching.